Nostalgia is a topic that has been talked to death about, where it is remembering old times with friends or old sorrows a certain year has associated with the feeling. Nostalgia is normally considered a sorrowful memory of a life that you can't go back to. But the way I see it, it is a life that never existed and never will exist.
This might not look like much because it isn't. It's a crappy old Roblox game with not much effort to be seen. But to me, I see years of amazing and very sorrowful memories that I've created with this game. This facility game would be the start of my long development journey. Memory isn't reliable. Memory tends to block out more stressful inconveniences. That's why you often see people saying that 2016 or the 2000s are better, or even years and years before that. Memory creates an unachievable expectation for life that cannot be satisfied. Everyone wants to live that life, but it's a life of literal perfection. The bad parts completely taken out. The topic of the video isn't only about that. I just needed to explain nostalgia in a clearer way. Nostalgic favoritism is a term that I made up to explain one scenario, an idea slash concept that you already love to death and even in the moment, but have a certain memoric attachment to that idea. It's a bit difficult to explain, but I suppose I can give one example.
Started off with hearts alone.
Evil People by Shawnee Jash is a song that I already found quite amazing and quite catchy. The thing that set this song apart from others is, well, the fact that I have this cat and he used to sleep with me every once in a while. He'd for some reason have an extra interest of following me around, and sometimes I'd be laying on my bed and he'd also like to jump up and sit next to me and we'd fall asleep together. I always like singing this song in like a way softer tone to my cat, and we would both fall asleep together in peaceful harmony. It was really nice. There was one day where my cat went missing and I was so scared, and the next day I woke up thinking I heard a cat meowing, but it was genuinely just my imagination and desperation for wanting to find them. I searched around the entire house extremely scared, hoping that it wasn't just my imagination. I went outside in the blistering cold and yet I saw nothing. The whole day I would worry about where my cat could be, scared that he might be hurt and gone forever. I got so desperate that I decided to do something that I consider a little bit genuinely sad is the best way I can describe it. When I started when I'm starting to think about it, it was genuinely really sad. I went to my balcony and I started singing the song. I was under the hopeful thought that maybe, just maybe, he would hear the song and recognize it, and he'd be able to come back home. Halfway through the song, I started crying. I just couldn't finish it. I just stood at my balcony looking coldly at the mountains with a feeling of hopelessness, honestly. And just a few minutes after, something really amazing happened. He had returned like nothing had happened at all. He really did hear my song, and I gave that cat the biggest hug ever. You have no idea. I think he hated it, but I didn't really care. I was just happy he was back. The only really concerning thing that I saw with him was that he had injured his little paw, but besides that, he was completely okay. This is one example of these type of memories that I can think of nostalgic favoritism, since it wasn't a particularly happy memory, but knowing that after I found my cat makes it so much more eternal for me, I suppose, the song. I think that was a good example for this, but I might as well give another example that was actually meant to stick in your head.
Pack my box with 5,000 liquor jugs. I'll be waiting.
Little Spoon is genuinely one of my favorite albums ever. I will say that it is probably a very acquired taste to actually like it, but it doesn't really matter to me that much. The whole album was made as, I think, if like to test if they could make like a warm Christmas / winter songs, if I'm not mistaken. And say whatever you will about Patricia Taxon, I'm not gonna touch on that in this video. I'm probably gonna make another video about Patricia Taxon because some of the really weird things they've done, but here is not the place right now. Little Spoon's songs are already supposed to be warm and nostalgic, in my opinion, but another reason that it really sticks with me obviously has to do with another sad period in my life. There was a time where I talked to my friends like every single day and had a lot of fun. It really reminded me of like the old times with another old friend that I have and I don't really talk to anymore. But I was really stressed out at the time as well for reasons unimportant to the viewers. I decided to take a mental break, and I had recently found Little Spoon, which I was excited to listen to. I had completely stopped talking to people for a little while, and I was just working on my game, and had decided I wanted to listen to Little Spoon album. Now, if you had kept up with my announcement polls, you'd see that I had a really bad stomach issues at the time, so I felt like I was on the urge of dying every single day, and since I wasn't talking to anyone, I felt extremely alone and extremely scared of death. But the thing that made me feel so much better was listening to the Little Spoon album. It made me feel warm and appreciated. It made me feel comforted and social. It kept me going through some of the darker moments of those weeks. Honestly, with Little Spoon, I think it's mainly nostalgia that boosted it up more, but I was already in love with it. I actually listened to the whole album on a plane before. Before we continue to the next section, let's go on to an ad break.
Have you ever hated the feeling of skin on your body? Has skin ever caused awkward moments in your life? Do you ever hate the feeling of your skin getting warm because of stupid nerves? If all of these questions are yes, then what you need is the Skin Remover 3000. It can instantly skin you alive and make you into a skinless beauty. And it only costs $9.99. What are you waiting for? Come get yours today.
Now, with two examples out of the way, I want to talk about the real reason I made this video. The real reason I really wanted to do this, and it has to do with a little Roblox game called There are no words that I can say to explain my love for Warm Isolation. Warm Isolation is my favorite game ever, period. There is just something so unimaginable about the memories I have with Warm Isolation by Steven Scripps. Steven has obviously become my favorite developer on Roblox. I honestly really hope I can make games to his level of coziness. Also, I love Starbucks Cafe. Oh my god, it's beautiful. Anyways, you can probably tell when I found out that the game was taken down and put as 17 plus because of recent Roblox changes. I was extremely saddened since I'd rather not give Roblox any of my information, but I really wanted to play Warm Isolation. This was the first time I'd heard of the game in years, and it unlocked so many memories for me, and I couldn't even play it again because it was locked behind a fake censor bar. But to explain it best, I remember playing with my friends on Warm Isolation every single day for so many hours. It was just so much fun. It's just so many memories, and I remember this was more recently when I started making Roblox games, and I remember just happily sitting in the game for hours waiting for my friends to join. All of these memories were really happy, and honestly, I thought this game might not even fit in this video because it didn't really fit the criteria I had with the other ideas. The other topics I had a sad and personal relationship with them, but Warm Isolation, all I had were happy memories. Well, remember how I said that memory was unreliable at the start of the video? I think this is a good way to end the video by showing you some old footage I was able to uncover. Hello guys, and welcome to Worm Isolation. This might be if not my favorite Roblox game ever. So, Worm Isolation always never failed to actually make me feel warm. This game gives me so many memories when I used to play with my friends. Worm Isolation is 100% my favorite Roblox game. But this game is just so cozy to me, and I don't know. This game feels so nice. I remember playing this game with my friends, like a bunch of us in here, just so we could get bigger salary. It just gives me so many memories. A lot of us wish we could go back in time and, I guess, change the decisions we make. But there's no changing your decision after making it. You choose your decisions because you think it's right. And instead of trying to find a state of happiness. Oh, I remember this, where we used to play. I miss those times. I really do. I wish I could go back. When people actually used to play my games. I just wish I could go back to that time. I wish people would go back to caring about my games like they used to, instead of just having nobody. I make a game and then nobody ever plays it, no matter how many times. No matter how many times
For the lightning bolts and mercenaries, for the scum sucking worms and devotees, shake your tail, let your blood till you can't see.